Hi everyone, welcome to Deliciosa Vida. Today I'm going to be preparing some delicious crystallized candies. These candies are very traditional and popular in Mexico. You can always find them on the streets of Mexico by local vendors or in the United States in local Mexican supermarkets. Before we start the recipe, let me invite you to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and activate the notification bell for more videos. Before we start with the recipe, let me warn you that these candies are going to take about 5 days for them to be ready, but it's worth the wait, I promise you that. And all the ingredients as usual are going to be listed in the description box. So let's start with the first date. For these candies, I'm going to be using sweet potatoes. I'm using the Japanese sweet potatoes and some squash that I had in the refrigerator and I didn't want it to go to waste. So you don't have to add it if you don't want to. First, we need to peel the sweet potatoes. Now I'm going to cut the sweet potatoes in 1.5-inch slices. In a different note, I want to share that this recipe is an inspiration from my grandma, my dad's mom, my Mama Lucina. As a little girl, I used to watch her trying to make these candies and she was never able to successfully make them. So it became an obsession for me, and finally I was able to make them some few years ago. So I want to dedicate this recipe to her. In 3 liters of water, we are going to add 1/2 cup of slaked lime. You will probably ask yourself, why are we using this ingredient? Actually, slaked lime is used in some Mexican recipes, including tortillas. Mix well and add the sweet potatoes. We're gonna leave the sweet potatoes resting in this water for about 24 hours. During this time of 24 hours, make sure you stir the sweet potatoes around occasionally. The slaked lime is going to help the sweet potatoes to stay in complete shape during the cooking process, and it will create a crunchy layer on the outside. Now this is day 2 and 24 hours have passed. Now we're gonna drain and rinse the sweet potatoes very well. To get rid of the leftover slaked lime on the sweet potatoes, we are going to pre-boil them. We are going to boil the water first, then add the sweet potatoes and let them boil only for 5 minutes, then remove them right away. 5 minutes have passed, so now we're gonna remove them, drain them, and set them aside until they cool down. Now that the sweet potatoes are manageable, we need to make perforations with the fork on both sides of the sweet potato. The perforations will allow the syrup to get into the sweet potato. The next step is to make the syrup to crystallize the sweet potatoes. In a pot, we are going to add 3 liters of water, the cinnamon, the cloves, and the sugar, and we're gonna let it come to a boil. The water is boiling, so we can add the sweet potatoes now. The sweet potatoes are in, so now we need to let them come to a full boil again. It's boiling now, so I'm going to bring the temperature to low and I'm going to let them boil for 1 full hour. And make sure that during this hour you stir them around so that they can cook evenly. After the 1 full hour, we're going to set them aside until the next day. It's the 3rd day and we're going to do the same procedure. I'm going to let them boil for 1 full hour in low, stir occasionally and let them rest until the next day. The 4th day, we're gonna let it cook again 1 hour in low and set aside until the next day. As you can see, on the 4th day, the candies look a little darker and the syrup looks more reduced. We are on the 5th and last day. This time we're gonna let them cook again on low heat, but this time we're gonna let them until they are completely done. You will note that they are ready because the syrup is going to create a bubblish white foam. When they are ready, we are going to place them in a wire rack to let them cool down and to drip the excess of the syrup. The recommendation is to let them dry for 5 days, but really you can eat them right away. Honestly, these candies are a sweet little piece of Mexico. These are the candies after a few days, and as you can see, they look super delicious. Well, thank you for watching and remember to enjoy life because life is a deliciosa vida. Until next time.